humanity. It's June 22nd, 2020. And again, it's this favorite time of at least my week because it's Mondays with Bev and Paul. And hi, everybody. My name's Paul.
Good morning. This is Bev.
Hello, Bev. Let me turn to you this
Hello,
way.
Paul.
Hi, Bev.
Hi. How are you?
Good to see you. I'm doing actually quite well, though if
Good.
I get a little raspy, it's been hard for me to keep my throat uh, hydrated when it's only 3% humidity.
Oh,
Can you even
wow.
imagine 3% humidity,
No,
folks?
why bother?
Why bother? That's a good point. All right, and our point today on our Monday show is going to be create the BioTouch habit. And before we do that, we want to share with you that we did a virtual practitioner training, our very first one. We had myself and Bev and Kai and Eileen. We had 6 participants from all around the country, different
Yeah,
places. We had 3 massage therapists who got 8 CE credits. And we went from 9 in the morning Tucson time to 4 in the afternoon, took a little break. It was awesome.
yeah. You never know first time out, but I must say, I was quite pleased. It went very well. Everything kept on track as far as
Yeah,
time. Kai and Eileen were amazing.
it was
Everybody, all of the class
incredible.
was amazing. I just wow.
One of the participants, when we asked how everybody liked it, she says, I was engrossed with it. It
Wow,
was,
I yeah.
yeah. I mean, and I think we've really learned well how to go to a PowerPoint, then go back and forth, then, interact with people, then break out into rooms. We actually
That was
practiced
great.
the points. We watched people do the points. So, hey, this is our new way of teaching around the world. So our next one is going to be July, and this will be a 2-day one. Be
Right.
July 7th and July 9th, and I think those start at 9 in the morning. No, 3 in the afternoon, Tucson time.
Yeah.
So
Just on
those are
time.
some evening ones, and we're
Right.
changing them all around. If you have particular time you'd like us to start, hey, drop us a line. We can do anything. Bev loves
Yeah.
getting up at 3 in the morning and getting on the
Oh, thank you.
having her, she'll just have to have her hair already done, ready to go. Oh, time to do it. so,
I got to get up at 2 if I'm going to do that.
so it's really a good way for us to continue funding the organization since our Tucson Center is closed. If you'll notice on this post, we also have a little button if you'd like to donate to the foundation because that's really how we run this organization. We've been running it that way for 31 years. Minimum fee for our classes. Membership is only $18. All these ways help us fund the ability to get BioTouch out there and help people create the habit of BioTouch. So
Right.
let's jump right into it, Bev. What in the heck is a habit?
Oh, my. Well, thinking that all things in this universe is neutral, habits, they start with thought forms. Everything starts with a thought form, right? And then it dribbles down through all of our parts of ourselves, and boom, it's manifested eventually. And we look at that and go, wow, when did I start thinking that way or acting that way or believing that way?
right?
A lot of it's subconscious. It becomes a subconscious reaction to a stimulation. Then we call that, then it starts becoming an emotion. So we set up these habits, and most of the time we're not even aware of them.
Right.
And that's where we start getting off kilter. Well, then those habit patterns can be in an individual, they can be in a nation, they can be in a whole kingdom. And I'm specifically saying it that way because that's what's happened.
Right.
Humanity is now facing much of its ancient habit patterns. They're pouring out of us, and they're some of them are very ugly. And we're oh, what? We need.
That brings up a good point as you're talking about that. Just to build on it, these habits aren't necessarily created by us in this particular lifetime.
Right.
It could just, it's a, as you talked about, ancient.
Yeah.
It's passed down from the DNA, these
DNA.
habits.
That's right.
It's locked in our cell memory, as
Yes.
Mr. Lipton said.
Absolutely. Locked in our cell memory are these habit patterns. And the reason that I have observed uh, is that the reason that they continue for so long is because the human psyche gets lazy. It doesn't, becomes a path of least resistance eventually, a habit pattern that is become what, complacent. We've talked about that one.
Right.
And then we just don't want to do the work to change. But I think a lot of humanity at this point is understanding at some level that these habit patterns that are now in our face, it's going to require a conscious cellular change. And I love how Dr. Bruce Lipton says we're starting to tell a different story. That's a good way of saying it. Because the programming needs to happen, and this happens, as he believes, and we have said, it has to happen at the cellular level, because if it's that DNA, that habit, ancient pattern, it's going to take some work for all
Right.
of us.
And it reminds me, I remember working with this elder man once, and we were always trying to change our habit thought. And so we, a lot of times, would just stop, and when we would do a particular, he talked about it like walking in the forest. So a lot of times the Forest Service will close down a trail because it's been walked on for so long that it's got a rut in it now. And so you block that one off and you create a new trail that you have to walk on. And over time, that old trail finally covers over, it becomes beautiful, and you can't notice it any longer. And that's
Yeah.
sort of what we're talking about here. We have to get off the old trail,
Yeah.
but that's that conscious act to walk a new trail. Otherwise, we keep doing the same old
We
thing.
just keep going down that rutted path until it buries us. So if, this show's about, biotouch.
A new habit.
Hey, how does that happen? Well, let's connect the dots here. So we've just been talking about a consciousness, or we could call that self-awareness,
Yeah,
that
that's a
this
good
this
word. Right?
foundation encourages the growth of that through the practice of biotouch. Because what we have seen in many people, once they start practicing on a consistent basis, this is where change happens. You're now creating, as you say, a new path, a new habit to take over that one that's no longer useful in our lives. So we start to reiterate now to that subconsciousness a new self-awareness. And this is where biotouch is so powerful, because it actually touches on the skin, a communication system to where that old pattern actually lives. And it's in the cells, as we say, the DNA.
Right.
And it starts changing the story.
And that's what's great about biotouch, and it's not a huge conflict. That's why we're
No?
trying to. Because it's a body, because we're not telling you to change your mind per se, or sit in a meditation, which is difficult for most of us because that mind just starts going loony. Or try listening to Beethoven instead of rock and roll, because it's easy to listen to rock and roll or pop music. You remember that ditty. Listen to
Yeah.
classical music, and they've actually put classical music into prisons, and it drives them crazy. Because there's those higher vibrational things that are difficult for us to do. But with biotouch, what's nice about it is just that fact of touching another human being, putting yourself in relationship just through that thing that we all agree to, the body. That's another habit energy. You have a body, I have a body. But here's a way now to touch with love instead of hurt, to
Yeah.
touch with reclaiming my birthright to be healthy, happy, and loved. We no longer have to go to somebody else to get those birthrights. We have them within ourselves, and BioTouch allows us to reclaim that.
The other part of that is that a lot of our humanity's problems stem from the fact that an ancient pattern of perceiving that we're separated. And we've talked about this many times in relationship to BioTouch. So one of the other amazing, profound opportunities that BioTouch offers each of us is this to come into a relationship with another. It takes two people, and it's forcing us into, in that moment at least, to really experience that bond, that inseparable bond that's always existed between human beings. And so this is one of the basic things. We've become so separated from the source that we have allowed ourselves to harm each other. And we have become harmful as a kingdom. I'm sorry, but we're having to reap what we have sowed here. That's just what happens. When you start using BioTouch, it starts breaking down all of those, you can call it black and white, left and right, all that stuff. It doesn't matter what it's called. It's barriers between us. And that loving touch is here to bridge and connect us to each other.
That reminds me, once I was working with a friend of mine. He worked at the Jewish Community Center as their fundraiser, and he was helping us with BioTouch, and I talked to him just about what you were just saying, and he turns to me and he says, "Well, would you work on a Hitler?" And I went, "Well, yeah." I mean, it just didn't even come across to me, and he was like almost offended and couldn't get it, and it's sort of like, I don't care who the president is of this year, past years, future years. It's like that kid that was strangling me to death. The minute I got to do BioTouch on him in the midst of dying, he released me. So it's helped me break down those barriers.
Yeah.
And then I might judge again. Then I judge, and then I complain, and then I bitch all I want. But then I think of BioTouch, and I think of doing BioTouch, and we all need to feel like we're loved. We all are just yearning for that little bit of being cared for.
So the simplicity of it all is that to change a habit pattern, we need consistent reprogramming. Something always better replaces that which is being let go of. And then, so this is where BioTouch comes in to the mix. You start practicing BioTouch, it opens you up to the ability, the opportunity, the power to change what you become conscious of is not working for you anymore. That this is harmful for me, or it's harmful for another person or another group. And it gives us the ability to look at ourselves and really focus on our own sense of what we need, what we want to be, who we want to be, how we want to grow. We don't even have to talk about it works here and it works there. BioTouch at that cellular level opens us up to that self-awareness of just being, that those things will happen naturally. And if we consistently, and we're willing to work.
And all that work is just a simple taking those two fingers and touching another human being on what we're going to show you here, the greeting. And we have a 21-day challenge we put out to people. If you'd like to be part of that, put yes in the comments, kick us an email, and we'll get you to help be consistent, as Bev was just talking about, to practice that greeting. Just 15 seconds, you touching one person, them touching you, even if you're just thinking about them, will start changing our thought system. We've just seen that. It's amazing.
We have. It's a heart to heart, isn't it? It's a heart path. That's for sure.
So let's show that greeting. And the other part that you're going to see in this greeting is they're asking the child to help the parents. That's another change in our habit energy. Imagine saying to our young ones, Daddy needs you to help me. Mommy needs you to help me. Here, just do this. And we had one lady in the class. She said, I don't know who's gonna work on me. And we found out she had a daughter 6 years old. There you go. 6 years old, change the habit energy. Let her be your helper. Oh my God, that little girl would love it. And here's all you have to do, folks.
The greeting is always performed at the beginning of each session. It's the only set that uses one hand and the only set that indicates which hand to use. The greeting is performed with the dominant hand. If you are right-handed, use your right hand. If you are left-handed, use your left hand. The greeting is made by touching at point 1, which is in the fleshy area just below the bottom of the breastbone or sternum. Hold this point for 6 to 8 seconds. Then, with the same 2 fingers, touch point 2 on the back. To find point 2, look for the big bone at the base of the neck. From here, move 1 to 1.5 inches to the left. This is point 2. Hold this point for 6 to 8 seconds. More than one associate may work with a recipient provided that all of the associates perform the greeting. If the associate or the recipient leaves the session, or if someone who hasn't done the greeting touches either the recipient or the associate, the greeting must be reestablished. Then the session may proceed from where it was interrupted.
There you go. Simple.
There you go.
Just simple.
Oh, you've got it. We've already got it.
You've got it.
You don't have to look too far.
Just don't look at the moon or your fingers and take those fingers pointing at the moon and touch another human being. Just reach out over the airwaves. Touch somebody. Touch. Let's just touch.
Just do it.
There's all this stuff going around. People are finding their spot now, which is wonderful. Stuff is being stirred up. It's a wonderful time on the planet. There's fires in the Tucson Mountain. There's fires in our heart. Let's start touching one another.
I think BioTouch can set us on fire. It's love. It's love. It's transformative.
So we have another way to learn it this coming week, this Thursday, 6 p.m. Tucson time. It'll be live streamed on Facebook with Dr. Liu, and we're going to talk about prostate cancer and other prostate conditions. Right. So join us for that. If you're a massage therapist, you can get CE credits for that workshop. Just let us know that you're interested, and or go to justtouch.com CE credits and sign up for it there. So that'll be 6 o'clock. It's just an hour long. Dr. Lou will present us some information, and then we'll teach you the few sets of points to address any kind of prostate condition. So that was a good habit energy.
Yeah.
So
Mondays, we're consistent.
We're consistent. We've been consistent for over 3 years doing this, folks, and we love it. These are in podcast forms. You can pass them on to your friends, your family. It's on our YouTube channel, BioTouch Healing, Facebook. You'll get an email with this if you're on our email list. Forward it to friends and family. Change the habit energy. Start sharing touch. And add that to your protocol, and pretty soon the touch will override all of our other stuff. We'll have this new path of doing BioTouch for healing, happiness, and loving one another. Yeah. I love you, Bev.
Love you, Paul.
And love all of you out there, and thank you for letting us come into your home.
If pain has got you down and you live in town, take a trip down to Pima Street. The people down there are people who care. They will get you back on your feet. Put love into action. Put love into action. If you ever want to have any real satisfaction, choose love while you still can. Don't even try to understand. A healing grace in your own hands. Put love into action. Love thy neighbor as thyself.